I'm going to introduce Peter Ballantyne. He's going to give a short presentation on online collaboration and Dgroups. Been a km4dev member for more years than I care to remember. And he's always been a very inspirational figure, always encouraging collaboration, join together, create more. Looking forward to what you've got to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Sarah. I called it Back to the Future because we're talking a little bit about the future of collaboration and online collaboration and Dgroups as part of that. It's a bit of history. It's actually a bit of my personal history. In the late 80s, we did things called remote electronic meetings. In 1998, we did a think tank, a knowledge sharing pilot with the World Bank and a lot of partners. So in 2002, we thought, let's set up Dgroups as a joint initiative. Around 2006, we came up with a roadmap and we changed the platform in 2008. There was a group called the Information Solutions Group. So this was their first collaborative thing with a bunch of NGOs in 2001, and so we decided to get together and create something and focus on people and content and communications. That became in 2002 Dgroups. It was about discussion and collaboration. It was very much email and web. We wanted something very easy for communities, partners, something for us, and so we got inspired by eGroups to create Dgroups, and it was all about low bandwidth, accessibility, collaboration, and working together. I think one of the big successes of Dgroups over all the years, kind of low bandwidth, is this email element. Partnership. It's not about the platform. There are many platforms. It's about working together, collaborating, communicating, learning, and dialoguing. We've revised a bit kind of vision and purpose, and we're tapping into the collective knowledge by dialogue and development. We call it the ABCD. A is around access and knowledge, and how can we link and connect and make that accessible. Secondly, is about brokerage, advice, facilitating connections. The C is about capacities, the process of engaging and learning and collaborating. And the fourth one is the D for dialogues and discussions, events. The foundation and the partnerships based in the Netherlands. And our hope is through Dgroups, through working together, each of us, but also collectively, also more reach and more impact. Why is the Dgroups dialogue? So we'd like to run, and we're calling it an experience capitalization approach. What is it we can draw, we can learn, and what can we produce some actionable knowledge? These three questions outline a bit the agenda for that dialogue. Which factors are the most critical to successful online collaboration?
And sort of how the connectivity relates to inclusivity and the barriers that access to internet. But it's also the human connection, the challenge of creating relationships online, being responsive and take a bottom-up approach. Right?
It's more important to rethink facilitation. We need roles. How do we receive trust? Because we have common values. Everybody can gain if things are shared.
Facilitation was key in terms of setting rules, establishing clear objectives and processes. So how do we build a people-centered approach? Well, you can't do that unless you know who's coming to the party. And also this issue about not making assumptions about the kinds of devices that people are logged on to.
Very good kit is hard to reconcile with access, and it really does raise the question of some people kind of using technology effectively and getting a lot out of it, and then it being almost an imposition on others. So
participant-centered design, how do you design a meeting that fits the audience? How do you get the right people in the right place at the right time so that there is engagement and active participation?
Are those really important topics that we need to know more about?
Learning from practice and the challenge of a one-size-fits-all approach. How do we understand how to meet people where they are so that this doesn't become one more thing to log into, one more thing to keep track of, but are actually in the flow of how people are already consuming information?
Connection was the rituals. We need a little bit more rituals. What do we need to know more about and how this could be used?
Around how do we get out of our disciplinary silos as groups and organizations and communicate across disciplinary and practice capability for effective communication in collaborative spaces when people are bringing in their own personal approaches which may or may not fit well.
Of why people are communicating, what the point is, what the underlying assumptions and beliefs are. Linked to that, the issue of how you create real and true engagement over time.
Manage conversational leadership to allow productive conversations. How do you change the habit of so many people who switch now massively to online collaboration and not contribute to a breakdown, not to overdo it?
From John, we will need to learn more about the nexus between organizational development, knowledge management, and inclusion and diversity. In that intersection is where we'll need to learn more about.
There's some areas we know a lot. Let's not dive deep. Let's just synthesize.
A lot of data out there that we haven't fully taken advantage of? Looking across many communities, could big data analytics give us any insight across communities where we maybe contribute to successful collaboration, increased engagement, current social media platforms, and how they compare with more traditional means of collaboration in the development sphere?